Let's dive into the first big news of the day. Dustin Poirier admits that Max Holloway was just too fast after the point-down moment. This comes after Poirier faced some significant backlash following UFC 318 for attempting to clinch with Holloway right after the referee signaled them to engage with only 10 seconds left on the clock. Poirier, reflecting on the moment, has come clean and confessed that Holloway's speed was simply too much for him in those final seconds. So what exactly went down in that crucial time frame? According to Poirier, the final moments of the round played out exactly how he expected them to. The referee gave the point-down signal, meaning the fighters were to engage in a stand-up exchange of punches. Poirier was prepared for a striking exchange with Holloway, but what happened next surprised him. Holloway was just too fast. Poirier admits that once the fight resumed, he was ready to throw punches, but Holloway was already a step ahead. Poirier explains that as soon as he threw 1 or 2 strikes, Holloway was already countering with 3 or 4 of his own. This speed discrepancy left Poirier in a position where he had to adjust his strategy on the fly. Rather than continue trying to trade punches with Holloway, Poirier decided to clinch up and wrestle. "I'm not doing this," Poirier thought. "I'm not going out like Gaethje," he said, referencing the brutal knockout Justin Gaethje suffered in a wild exchange with Holloway. Poirier recognized that Holloway's speed was overwhelming and he wasn't willing to take the risk of getting caught with a damaging shot. Poirier, always calculated and strategic in his approach, knew that trying to keep up with Holloway in a pure striking exchange might not be the best decision. Despite his decision to clinch, Poirier admits that he could have landed a shot too, but the timing wasn't in his favor. Once he threw his first couple of punches, Holloway was already throwing multiple counters, making it difficult for Poirier to land any meaningful shots. This realization is part of the reason why Poirier opted for the clinch. He knew that if he kept trying to strike, he would be playing into Holloway's strengths, and that wasn't the type of fight he wanted. Poirier continues to reflect on how things felt in the moment. In hindsight, he feels the fight was closer than it may have appeared at first. His decision to engage in the clinch wasn't about avoiding the fight, but about trying to reset and find a safer avenue for the final seconds of the round. It wasn't about backing down, but about adapting to a situation that was unfolding faster than he could react to it. Poirier's honest assessment of the moment showcases the respect he has for Holloway's abilities, as well as his own awareness of when to switch gears in the heat of battle. That's the nature of high-level combat sports moments like these, where one small decision can change the outcome of a fight. Now let's move on to the second big news. Paul Felder believes Conor McGregor knew his pictures would be leaked. Felder has made some bold claims about the photos McGregor sent to Alelia Banks last week. He finds it absolutely absurd that McGregor would send such private photos to anyone, especially someone he's never met before. It's even more puzzling because Alelia Banks has a reputation for leaking personal content. Felder doesn't think this was a mistake. Instead, he believes McGregor may have intentionally sent the photos, knowing they would eventually get leaked to the public. Let's break this down. For someone as high profile as McGregor, sending private photos to a stranger is surprising. With his level of fame, you'd expect McGregor to be more cautious about privacy. Yet, he chose to send something deeply personal to someone with whom he has no prior relationship. Even more shocking is the fact that he sent these photos to Alelia Banks, known for stirring up controversy and leaking private material. If you know someone has a history of exposing such things, why would you willingly share something so intimate? Felder suggests that McGregor might not have made a mistake at all. Instead, he may have sent the photos with the full knowledge that they would be leaked. Perhaps McGregor was seeking a public reaction or trying to create a media frenzy. After all, McGregor has thrived on attention and controversy throughout his career. Felder implies that McGregor may have wanted the leak to happen, knowing it would generate headlines, spark conversations, and get people talking about him. The situation gets even more absurd when Felder explains how out of left field it is. It's bad enough that that was even something he would send, Felder says, referring to the photos. But the truly wild part is that McGregor sent them to someone like Banks, who is sure to use them against him. Alelia Banks is known for her social media presence and love for stirring drama, and she's exactly the kind of person who would turn these photos into a viral sensation. It's almost as if McGregor was looking for that kind of chaos and attention. Felder also shares a humorous reaction to the public's response to the photos. He was on a movie set when someone asked if he had seen them. "I wasn't prepared for what I saw," he recalls. He then describes how people were commenting about McGregor's lifestyle, saying, "God, he's got it all, man. He's got the money, he's got this, he's got a gig." In a playful tone, Felder admits, "I'm curious to see how big this thing is." He then jokes that it was very average, adding, "pun intended for comedic effect." Felder's curiosity about the attachment in the photo leads him to wonder aloud what McGregor had. Was it like a weight? Was it a device? He asks, playfully suggesting they should have brought in Chael Sonnen to discuss the topic. Felder jokes that Chael would have plenty to say, considering his love for stirring the pot. Whether intentional or a huge mistake, McGregor's photos have become a major topic in the MMA and entertainment communities. The conversation is far from over, and it has certainly fueled the media fire. Next up, we've got some major drama involving Khamzat Chimaev and Paulo Costa's girlfriend, Tamara, after some explosive direct messages DMs were revealed. During a recent appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, Paulo Costa shared a juicy tidbit about a private conversation he had with Tamara. According to Paulo, he sent her a message that read, "Your man is not man enough." But the drama didn't stop there. He went even further, claiming that Khamzat had sent a picture of him, making a crude comment saying, "Look, he likes black men. You should look for a better man than him." This bold claim was only the beginning. The situation was escalated even more when screenshots of the DMs between Khamzat and Paulo were shared publicly, shedding light on the intensity of their verbal exchange. In these private messages, Khamzat seemingly fired back with his own insult, sending a picture of Paulo in what could be described as a diss-on. Khamzat wrote, "How can you be with this? He likes black boys," and followed it with a laughing crying emoji. The exchange has since created a massive stir in the MMA community. Fans and commentators alike have weighed in on the situation, with many expressing disbelief and astonishment over the personal nature of these DMs. In a sport like MMA, where trash talk and rivalries are common, it's unusual for such private, personal exchanges to be made public. However, given the personalities involved and the heightened tensions between Khamzat and Paulo, it's not entirely surprising. These revelations have certainly added fuel to the fire in the ongoing rivalry between the two fighters. Khamzat Chimaev and Paulo Costa have had their fair share of controversial moments in the past, and this latest drama only intensifies the animosity between them. Both fighters have built reputations for stirring the pot, with Khamzat known for his aggressive and brash demeanor, and Costa not backing down when it comes to confrontations. As their rivalry continues to unfold, it seems clear that both are willing to go to great lengths to get under each other's skin, even if that means exposing personal messages in the process. The DMs themselves paint a picture of a highly charged and deeply personal exchange between the two fighters. Khamzat's message, with its derogatory language and laughable emoji, shows just how much tension there is between them. For many, this is not just a case of simple trash talk. It's a clear escalation that brings their feud to a whole new level, given how much attention these messages have garnered. It's likely that both Khamzat and Paulo are fully aware of the spotlight they've placed themselves in, and they may be using this moment to fuel even more media frenzy around their rivalry. While some fans enjoy the drama and theatrics of such exchanges, others are criticizing both fighters for the personal nature of their insults. The debate over whether this kind of trash talk crosses a line or adds excitement to the sport is ongoing, but one thing is clear: this feud is far from over. As the MMA community watches closely, it remains to be seen how Khamzat and Paulo will continue to escalate their rivalry, and if this drama will eventually spill over into the octagon. Moving on to another hot topic within the MMA community, Jon Jones. It seems that a large portion of MMA fans are no longer excited about the prospect of his return to the octagon. Many have expressed frustration with his career and actions both inside and outside the cage. One fan summed it up bluntly, saying, "Bro, no one wants to see you in there unless it's Tom, and we know you ain't fighting him." This sentiment highlights the feeling that Jones has overstayed his welcome and that his return won't meet expectations. The fan continued, criticizing Jones for leaving the division without facing key challengers like Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou. They also pointed out his repeated legal issues, saying, "We've moved on, man. You had your moments. Sit this one out. Just stay retired, bro." This critique reflects the disillusionment many fans feel towards Jones, who, despite his past as one of the greatest, has had his legacy tainted by controversies. The frustration has grown among fans, with many believing that Jones should either return with a clear purpose or retire completely. They argue that his actions, such as his arrests and avoidance of big fights, have overshadowed his accomplishments. His recent comments about a potential fight at the White House further fueled discontent, with one fan sarcastically responding, "No one cares about a potential fight at the White House." Fans are clearly tired of the drama and want Jones to either show genuine intent or step aside for newer fighters like Tom Aspinall. One fan summed it up by saying, "You'd be a good prelim, Jones." The idea is that Jones has unfinished business, and his return could create more questions than answers. It's clear that the MMA community's patience with Jon Jones is running thin. Whether he returns or not, the debate over his legacy continues, and many fans are waiting to see if he can prove them wrong or if his drama will overshadow his undeniable skill. Let's move on to another interesting story that has sparked some controversy: Kevin Holland and the cheating accusations following his fight with Daniel Rodriguez. Kevin Holland faced Daniel Rodriguez in a highly anticipated fight, but ultimately lost by unanimous decision. After the fight, Kevin took to social media to express his frustration, and it didn't take long before he appeared to accuse D-Rod of greasing. On X, formerly Twitter, Kevin posted, "That boy was like a soap bar, but good boxing. Sorry for all the parlays weed up," which many took as a reference to Rodriguez's perceived slipperiness during the fight. Kevin's comment about D-Rod being like a soap bar suggested that he found it difficult to hold on to his opponent during exchanges. The term soap bar implied that Rodriguez was unusually slippery, which is a common term used in the fight world when a fighter suspects their opponent may be using illegal substances like grease or oil to make it harder to control them during grappling exchanges. It didn't take long for fans and media to start speculating that Kevin was implying that D-Rod had greased his body to make it more difficult to clinch and execute holds. Daniel Rodriguez responded to these accusations in a conversation on the Ariel Helwani show. D-Rod seemed unfazed by the accusation, calmly addressing the situation. He explained, "Yeah, he said I was slippery, I was hard to grab, you know? But that's just sweat, bro." Rodriguez insisted that the reason he was hard to hold on to during the fight wasn't because of any illegal substances, but simply because of the sweat that naturally builds up during an intense bout. He continued to imply that Kevin's accusations might have been a misunderstanding, stating that he believed Kevin was suggesting he was greasing, though D-Rod didn't take it personally. Rodriguez also elaborated on a particular moment in the fight, recalling that in the third round, Kevin attempted a choke on him. D-Rod pointed out that Kevin didn't have the choke locked in properly, and he was able to escape by turning his body and getting his shoulder out. Rodriguez claimed that this moment might be what Kevin was referring to when he mentioned being difficult to hold on to. He wrapped up his explanation by reiterating that it was simply sweat, nothing more. The exchange between the two fighters has sparked a lot of conversation within the MMA community. While Kevin's frustration is understandable, given the intensity of the fight, D-Rod's response seems to clear up the situation, at least from his perspective. Whether the accusation holds any weight or not, this incident adds another layer of drama to an already exciting fight. Moving on to another story making waves in the MMA community. Kamaru Usman has shared his thoughts on a potential matchup between Max Holloway and Arman Tsarukiyan, and why he believes it's the next fight the UFC should book. Usman, who has had an illustrious career in the welterweight division, laid out his reasoning for why he thinks this fight makes sense. According to Usman, the winner of this bout should then face Ilia Topuria for the lightweight title. Usman's reasoning for booking Holloway against Tsarukiyan is rooted in their individual skills and the current state of the lightweight division. Usman praised Max Holloway, explaining how Holloway has already fought some of the top names in the division, including Justin Gaethje and Charles Oliveira. Usman acknowledged that Oliveira, once considered the king of the lightweight division, has now dropped a couple of losses, casting some doubt on his position at the top. Despite that, Usman still believes Oliveira remains a strong contender and a force to be reckoned with, but he sees a potential matchup between Holloway and Tsarukiyan as an intriguing one for the future of the lightweight title picture. The matchup with Tsarukiyan, according to Usman, is especially important for Arman, who has not been the same since a certain blunder prevented him from securing a title shot. Usman referred to the bad taste and bad energy following Tsarukiyan's last performance, suggesting that the young fighter needs to prove himself again to make a legitimate case for a future title shot. Usman believes the best way for Tsarukiyan to do this would be to face a fighter as accomplished and well known as Max Holloway. Holloway, with his incredible resume and reputation in the UFC, would be the perfect opponent for Tsarukiyan to solidify his position as a top contender. According to Usman, this fight would be crucial for both fighters. For Holloway, it would serve as an opportunity to make another run at lightweight, potentially putting him in line for a shot at the title. For Tsarukiyan, it would be a chance to redeem himself and prove he belongs among the elite in the lightweight division. Usman emphasized that this fight could be for the #1 contender spot, making it a pivotal matchup for the future of the lightweight division. Usman also briefly mentioned Ilia Topuria, acknowledging that Topuria has been actively chasing the BMF baddest MF title, which has added an interesting dynamic to the lightweight division. Topuria's pursuit of this title could potentially complicate things, but Usman believes that the winner of Holloway vs Tsarukiyan should be the one to face Topuria for the lightweight title. That's a wrap on all the news today. Ask ChatGPT,